Assalamualaikum and salam mahasiswa madani. Today, I am representing my group to talk about our topic, which is national security threats based on human security. This case study spotlight the Rohingya refugees and irregular migrants in Malaysia. Traditionally, security has been understood in terms of protecting state sovereignty and borders. However, in today's world, threats are not only military in nature. Issues such as poverty, health crisis, climate change, and forced migration have shifted the focus to human security, where the well-being of individuals is at the center. In this presentation, we will first explain the concept of human security, then discuss the Rohingya refugee and party issues in Malaysia, followed by their impacts on national security, and finally, suggest some strategy and solution. The idea of human security was introduced by Mahbub ul-Haq in 1994 and supported by the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP). It emphasized that true security is not just about defending borders, but ensuring people's survival, dignity, and well-being. There are two key principles, which is freedom from fear, which is protection against violence, conflict, and persecution. And the second one is freedom from want, which is protection against poverty, hunger, and disease. The UNDP also identified 7 dimensions of human security that consist of economic, food, health, environmental, personal, community, and political security. This provides a comprehensive way to understand threats that affect individuals and society beyond just military concerns. The Rohingya are a Muslim ethnic minority from Myanmar who have faced decades of persecution and denial of citizenship. Many fled after violent crackdowns in 2012 and 2017, which the UN described as having signs of genocide. Malaysia became one of their main destinations due to its Muslim majority, relative economic stability, and humanitarian reputation. However, Malaysia is not a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, meaning that refugees here have no legal status. The UNHCR steps in to register and assist them, but protection remains very limited. Apart from the Rohingya, Malaysia also hosts many irregular migrants, known as party, from countries such as Indonesia, Bangladesh, and the Philippines. They come mainly for work in construction, plantation, and service, but many become undocumented after overstaying or through trafficking networks. The arrival of refugees and irregular migrants poses several challenges to Malaysian national security. First, economic risk. Migrants often take low-skill jobs at cheaper wages, creating perception of job competition with locals. Government resources are also stretched, as millions are spent on healthcare, detention, and deportation. Second, social risk. Refugees and party are sometimes linked, fairly or unfairly, with crime, smuggling, or trafficking. This fuels xenophobia and tension with local communities, especially in urban areas where jobs and housing are limited. Third, public health risk. Many migrants live in overcrowded and unsanitary housing. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, detention centers became hotspots for outbreaks, showing how health and security among migrants can affect wider society. Fourth, political and diplomatic risks. Domestically, politicians face pressure from citizens who view refugees as a burden. Internationally, Malaysia handling of the Rohingya affect relations with Myanmar, ASEAN partners, and global human rights groups. So, in overall, the issue is not just humanitarian, but directly linked to Malaysia's security, stability, and reputation. From the human security point of view, the Rohingya and party issues reveal two main challenges. The first one is freedom from fear. Refugees flee persecution and violence in Myanmar, but even in Malaysia, They live in constant fear of arrest, detention, and deportation because they lack legal status. They are also vulnerable to exploitation by traffickers and employers. Second, freedom from want. Refugees and irregular migrants struggle to meet basic needs like job, food, healthcare, and safe housing. Without legal right, they are often work in informal sectors with very low wages, and many cannot afford proper medical treatment. International human rights documents like the UDHR, ICCPR, and ICE-SCR stress that all people, regardless of nationality, deserve dignity and protection. At the same time, the responsibility to protect, or R2P, highlights that states must balance sovereignty with responsibility to safeguard vulnerable population. For Malaysia, this means protecting refugees while also maintaining national security. To address these challenges, Malaysia can consider 4 strategies. First, strengthen border control with better technology and joint patrols, but still uphold humanitarian duties such as rescue mission for stranded boats. Second, enhance regional cooperation. Malaysia cannot solve this crisis alone. ASEAN, the OIC, and UNHCR must share responsibility, especially in pressuring Myanmar to resolve the root causes. Third, introduce conditional social integration. Limited access to education, healthcare, and employment can reduce long-term risks. For example, pilot programs in 2017 allowed some Rohingya to work legally, which helped reduce exploitation. Finally, legal reforms and public awareness. Even without signing the 1951 Convention, Malaysia can draw domestic laws to manage refugees more clearly, while campaigns are needed to reduce prejudice and misinformation about them. So in conclusion, the Rohingya refugee and party issue highlight the intersection between human security and national security. While this group face vulnerabilities in terms of fear, poverty, and lack of right, their presence also impacts Malaysia's economy, society, health, and diplomacy. But the challenge is finding a balance, protecting Malaysia's national interests while also respecting humanitarian values. By combining stronger borders, international cooperation, social integration, and legal reforms, Malaysia can create solutions that are both practical and compassionate. Thank you. That's all for today.